Hello everyone. In this video tutorial, I will show you how to set up the Multi-State Character Controller or MSCC by Imitation Studios. Let's get started. Let's begin by creating a new Unity project and downloading the asset pack. I'm going to import the package through the custom pack method, as this video was recorded before the asset's official release. You, however, will be able to download the package through the asset store. In order for this package to function at all, we will need to set up two things: the layers and the input. First, we can either drag our player unit prefab into any scene, or just load the included demo scene. For the moment, we will just use the included character mesh. But be sure to check out our other tutorials for information on changing the character. I'm going to add a simple cube to serve as the ground. Now that our scene has been set up, let's open up the project settings located under the Edit menu. Next, we will add the new input axis, sidestep, and up-down. Keep in mind that these must be spelled exactly the same as I enter it, and they are case sensitive. Don't worry about this error, as this is a pre-release version of the package, and will not be an issue in your package version. If you forget what input axis you need to set up, just press play. You can see the two argument exceptions below, and the exact name of the input axis needed to be added. For the up-down axis, the positive key is recommended to be the X key, the negative key is set to Z. But keep in mind, these key bindings can be set to anything you desire them to be. For the sidestep axis, the positive key is set to E, and the negative key is set to Q. That concludes the input setup. Next, we will take a look at setting up the layers. We will need to do four things. Create a couple new layers. Disable collisions between some of these layers. Assign the layers to our game objects. And finally, adjust the MSCC script's layer masks. Let's start out by creating the new layers. The layers do not need to be named exactly the same as I have them, as long as you remember the naming differences in the next three steps. The four new layers needed represent the ground, projected player, character representation, and land prevention. I have named the new layers in this manner. We will now define the layer masks used by the MSCC script, located on the player game object, or projected player, as it is formally called. The ground layer defines walkable surfaces. For now, we can just set this layer mask to only the ground layer. It is not recommended to use the default layer in this mask, as the default layer should generally be used for non-walkable obstacles. The overhead layer primarily affects crouching. See the documentation for more information on that. The water layer mask is required for the player to enter the swimming state, and can be set to the Unity's predefined water layer. The IK layer mask defines IK eligible surfaces. For now, we will set this to only the ground layer. Again, refer to the documentation for more information about these masks. Finally, we will set the land prevention mask, which will define surfaces that will prevent the player from exiting the flying state while above. Moving on. Let's assign the layers to our game objects. The player will be assigned to the projected player layer. The gyro, and its children, will be assigned to the character representation layer. You can assign your ground surface to the ground layer as well, as I will do, a little later into this video. But for now, let's move on to the camera collision script, located on the main camera game object. The camera clip layer mask is the last mask that needs to be set up. This layer defines the surfaces that the camera will collide with. When setting up this layer, it's important to think of the objects you don't want your camera to collide with. Things like the projected player, the character representation, and triggers, usually assigned to the Ignore Raycast layer by default. You don't need to worry about setting up the character rep parameter, as I am just clearing out that error, seen in this unreleased version. Lastly, we will go back into the project settings to disable a couple collisions between our new layers. The three collisions that need to be disabled are projected player, character rep, and finally, projected player, character rep. That's all you need to do to get the multi-state character controller up and running. Be sure to check out our other tutorials at www.imitationstudios.com. Thanks for watching and have a great day.